So, before we start, as always, a bit of a disclaimer. I'm in no way a professional Smite player, but I have played the game for several years. During this time, I've mostly played the ADC carry role, so I do know a fair amount on how to play it. I'll be making How to ADC into a series and focusing on each carry. If you haven't already checked out my popular How to ADC video for all hunters, the link will be in the description. In this video, it will be Xbalanque. If you have any other recommendations that people might appreciate, drop a comment down below to help each other out. I'll reply to any questions as well. So, we're going to cut this video down into two parts. First part is we're going to look at the abilities and strategies to make Xbalanque viable. The second part is going to be what to build and counter builds. So first off, let's look at his abilities and what they do. Xbalanque's passive is called Dead of Night, and it focuses on rewarding you with power the more player damage you do. For every 1500 damage done to an enemy god, after mitigation, you gain 1 stack that's worth 5 power. This stacks up to 6 times, granting 30 power in total, and it's very useful when it comes to building on this god. His first ability is called Branching Bowler. It's a toggle ability that makes his basics do more damage. When striking an enemy with this buff, the basic splits into 2 and it deals 35% of the initial damage on top of the bonus damage. This ability costs mana per shot. You definitely want to be upgrading this level at level 1 for the extra buff and wave clear. His second ability is Poison Darts. So he shoots out 15 darts in a cone in front of him. The enemy can be hit with a maximum of 5 darts. The first dart does full damage, and the other 4 darts do 30% damage. It ticks every 0.5 seconds and also applies a 30% slow. This is the ability that you want to be leveling when you hit level 3. Focus on leveling this ability as it does the most damage, especially as it can hit multiple enemies. His third ability is Rising Jaguar. Xbal rushes forward and jumps into the air. Now, this ability is quite useful as it makes Xbal CC immune briefly while he's in the air. So, when he's in the air, he shoots out darts to all enemies in the range. Enemies that are inflicted by his second ability, Poison Darts, take additional damage. This is a good reason that you may want to level this ability after your second, as they work hand in hand. His ultimate is Darkest of Nights. It shrouds all enemies on the map for 3 seconds. During those 3 seconds, his basics have additional range and his movement speed is increased. To be honest, this ability is not what it used to be, as it used to stun if you didn't stand still, but they removed that a while ago. I would level this ability last, and I would use it to get away. I would also use it when my teammate is about to get a kill, as this can give you an assist and give you gold. Now, let's look into the builds and counter builds for Xbalanque. So first off, we'll look into the Tank Destroyer / penetration build, whatever you want to call it. So this is used when the team is very tanky, so if you get someone like ARES, Ganesh, if there's a strong solo lane like Herc, just unkillable, your basics will hit like a brick, especially to these tanks. But the starter item with this build, it's optional. I prefer Mannequin's Mace, as it's really strong. Next, you want to build into Transcendence to start stacking. Hi-rez will be your next item. This will get you more power the more you attack. Then you're going to build into Kinsey's, followed by Executioner, and then finish it off with the Dominance. The pros of this build are very high damage to tanks, very high damage to towers, and high penetration. Whereas the cons, you don't get much of lifesteal, and it's not max attack speed. So the next build, it'll be the infamous crit build. This gives you the ability to wipe out an entire team, obviously if you get them off guard. First of all, you can either build Ornate Arrow or Hunter's Cowl for some lifesteal. Then you want to build into Devourer's Gauntlet to start stacking. Then you should build into Wasai for the additional lifesteal. Now, if you went Ornate Arrow, you can buy an additional non-crit item such as Executioner. If not, then you would buy Wind Demon instead. Then you want to build into Rage, finishing it off with the Deathbringer. The pros of this build are crazy damage and very high lifesteal. The cons, not much attack speed, low damage to towers, and low penetration. The final build, which is very popular lately, is the Bow build, for max attack speed and area damage. You want to build this when coming against grouped enemies. Your star items should be Hunter's Cowl, Most people don't stack with this build, so I'll be doing a non-stacking one. Your next item will be Ashval, followed by Odysseus' bow, then Asai. Then you want to build into Silver Branch to get them stacks, as at this point you will have reached the cap attack speed with the purple buff. Lastly, you can either build Atalantas or Executioner. The pros of this build are high area of effect damage, max attack speed, and high lifesteal. The cons, low penetration and low structure damage. I hope you enjoyed this how to ADC video on Xbalanque. If you did, drop a like down below and subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Cheers!